understand the implications of the sun being in Libra, make sure you know what the sun represents, make sure you know what Libra represents, and make sure you know the principles on how to combine the two. The principle is that you look for resonance between the symbolism of the planet and the sign. Resonance means where two things are on the same page. However, there's two types of resonance. One is dissonant and one is harmonious. If two things are on the same page but of opposite nature, like one thing is highly male and the other thing is highly female, then that's called dissonant resonance. But if two things are on the same page and of the same nature, then that's harmonious resonance. Harmonious resonance produces good results, easy results, enjoyable results. Dissonant resonance indicates challenges. So when we look at the sun in Libra, the first thing that we assess is that the baseline between the sun and Libra is basically dissonant. What the baseline dissonance is between the sun and Libra is the fact that Libra signifies democracy and the sun signifies monarchy. If you look at Libra's symbolism, Libra is a scales, right? It's the justice lady holding the scales. Libra is all about balance, equality, fairness, the distribution of power to the people. That's why it's democratic or liberal. The sun, on the other hand, is consolidation of power. The sun believes in consolidating power in the person who has the most strength and skill, and let that person take care of everybody else. Let's think a little bit about how to interpret this dissonance. The first thing that I would like to call to your attention is basically the idea of kingship on the wane. Think of each individual as a certain property or quality of kingship or rulership or leadership. When the sun is in Libra, that's going to be challenged. The challenge is going to be such that the person will feel less confident about making decisions independently and want to give more of a say to others and allow people votes and take consensus before making up its mind or making a decision about what's right. Now, that doesn't sound so awful, does it? No, and that's good. One of the best astrologers from classical India was Mantreshwar, and Mantreshwar has a famous saying, any planet can do good or bad in any sign or house, depending on its circumstances. So even the sun in Libra can indicate good things under the right circumstances. And the value of learning about the sun in Libra and the way that I'm teaching it to you is you don't so much learn about the outcomes of the sun in Libra, but the mechanism behind the outcomes. So that when you want to modify things, you know what to modify. So for example, the sun in Libra is typically very undignified because it's debilitated. But what if the sun is towards the end of Libra where it gets to be in the Leo Navamsha? It's getting back a lot of dignity. And what if Jupiter is at the very beginning of Cancer, where it's exalted, and it's pretty much at 120 degrees angle to the sun, so it would be casting a really strong benefic aspect on it. So the sun could actually be very good in Libra. What would you do then for your interpretation? You would take a good version of these same combinations. So when you think about the person who needs to have a vote or consensus before making a decision, don't frame it in terms of the person is weak. Frame it in terms of this is the person's strength and asset. But what I want to teach you in these videos is the baseline or the theoretical basic interpretation of the sun in Libra or the sun in Virgo or whatever, so that you get a firm footing to start working with these things. So basically, Libra is democracy, sun is monarchy. So the monarchy gets confronted by being in a democratic atmosphere. And therefore it kind of falls apart and it starts to try to adopt democracy, but doesn't really want to do it, so it doesn't really do it so well all the times. Another thing here with the kingship being on the decline, especially because the sun represents self and kingship in the sense of autocracy, autonomous control. Sun in Libra tends to indicate a decline in self-confidence, being replaced by a kind of a codependence or a need for validation from others. So typically the sun in Libra wants other people to validate who it is, or wants other people even to define or tell it who it is. One more thing to interpret from this basic clash between monarchy and democracy is Sun in Libra signifies a person who is disestablishmentarian and is kind of frustrated with hierarchy, monarchy, and those kind of patriarchy and those kind of situations. One more thing I want to bring to your attention. There's actually two more things. One thing I can't really show you on the screen because it's not in Libra's tree the way I've presented it, but Libra is also signifies the west and the destination point, and the sun signifies stability, so that's another clash. So a lot of times the sun in Libra should be interpreted to mean instability or tendency not to settle down or to want to wander. Well, one more thing that I do want to show you here on the screen is how the sun has this quality of being clear and visible objectively and externally, whereas Libra has empathy and sensitivity to everybody. So since this is a clash between the two things, it could, under circumstances, if the sun is in very good dignity, sun in Libra can indicate a person with a lot of empathy. But what it tends to basically usually indicate is a person who's got empathy, but that empathy makes it difficult for them to function. They care a lot about how other people feel. They care a lot about how other people think, but not so much in a healthy way. More in a way like it's interfering with them being themselves, and it's interfering with their doing the things that they really should do or not doing the things that they really shouldn't do. So those are actually the simple basics about the sun in Libra. Learn these and learn the technique behind generating these, and you'll be able to interpret the sun in Libra really well in a vast variety of situations from one chart to another. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will subscribe and stick around as I go through the sun and all the planets and all the signs and more.